Okay, ladies and gentlemen and variations thereof, welcome once again to the Selectives Lorecast, a casual Elder Scrolls podcast. Today we are discussing only the truth. We're only talking about things that are 100% true. There's science behind this crap. My name's Chris Nels, but most people call me Rotten Deadite. With me today are...
Oh, is it me? Hi.
You.
I'm Corey, also known as Aetherius74 on YouTube, and Gwen3 and other places. Conspiracy theories!
Luther, say hello. Did everybody miss the list I posted in chat?
Yes.
I totally saw it. I was just waiting for it. My name is Luther Weiser, otherwise known as Darcius. Yeah. Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Michael, though you might know me as Scourgicus, and I have terrible lag.
Yeah, you kind of, yeah. Let's see if it clears up. Putnam.
And I am Putnam. I am somewhat resembling a science wizard right now, since we are talking about nothing but pure science and maybe relating to magic.
Truth. Only
that
truth.
Unicorn is so much science.
We're only talking about things that are 100% true today, ladies and gentlemen. Also, actually, while we're talking about things that are true, I would like to announce that the Selectives Lorecast is switching over to a pay model. We're going to be $19.95 for every episode from here on out. We figure modders can do it. Why can't we?
Hey, it's a pay what you want model. You can go down to $15 if you want.
You go all the way, yes, thank you. But you can donate up to $1,000 an episode if you want. Because we believe in donations.
Yes.
The truth.
Truth.
Okay. I kind of want to start talking about, so what we're talking about today is conspiracy theories in the Elder Scrolls games and in the universe in general. And I kind of wanted to start everybody off talking about the mysterious case of Rorikstead.
Oh, boy.
Because for starters, I can't find out who came up with this. I think the guy who wrote it deleted himself. What was his name? Who was that? Anybody remember?
Somebody please tell me what the fuck the mysterious case of Rorikstead is.
Oh.
I have no idea.
I'm so glad you asked. Why don't I explain it to you? Basically, the idea was that somebody on TES Lore, on the TES Lore subreddit, or I think it's where it started. I don't think it was in Bethesda's terrible fucking forum. Said that they had realized that Rorikstead has a couple of things that don't make any sense. Like, for example, they say that they have really phenomenal crops, but nobody else in Skyrim can really grow things nearly as well as they can, and and nobody's quite sure why that was or something like that. And then it turns out like there was like a thing about like one of the oldest people in the village was named Rorik, but seemed younger than he should be or something, or there was a little bit of like some fuzzy information about...
You meet Rorik. He says he founded the town, but Rorikstead has existed since the First Era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly right.
Everyone has soul gems in their houses or whatever, which
Yeah.
is a bit odd for a bunch of farmers.
Yeah, one of them was a mage, but didn't want anybody to hear about it, I think.
Now, the obvious reason for the fertility... Now, of course, the obvious reason for the fertility is that in the Aldudaga, there was a piece of dirt that ended up getting stuck there for a while, and clearly that's under Rorikstead right now.
Dirt birds, yeah, clearly. Yes, that's right. The old codger responsible for meeting and greeting people is wizard as fuck. If you hang out in the mayor's house during dinner, you can see Gramps talking with the mayor's daughter about learning new magic, but he tells her to keep quiet about the entire issue. That's actually a scene that pops up every time every time the daughter's near that NPC, there's a chance that they'll have that conversation.
Because children tend to be naggy in Skyrim.
Yeah. Are you going to teach me how to turn into a mud crab?
Shut the fuck
up. Let's see. There's also a dead guy getting chewed on by skeevers a short walk from town.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going through the thing right now. I will, of course, if I can remember, include the link to this article in the comments below, if you're lucky. And really, it's a great example of a good conspiracy theory because it's the kind of thing that sticks in your head. For example, when I'm playing Skyrim now, I don't know about you guys, but after reading this article now, every time somebody tells me they're from Rorikstead, something in the back of my head goes, "Oh, you're from there, huh?"
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like hack dirt over there, isn't it?
It's like it's like not nearly as bad as hack dirt, but it's pretty bad.
No, yeah. They don't worship the deep ones.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, the mysterious case of Rorikstead never actually panned out into anything, and you kind of get the impression that there might have been something there from like the perspective of maybe a plot that somebody was thinking about doing at Bethesda, but never really got around to fully developing, or maybe they just didn't have the time or something. Yeah, but
see, it's kind of interesting how just some slight missing thing like that turns what was probably originally maybe like a quest line or something into a mystery that people like
the whole internet
really want to investigate.
Well, speaking of things that the whole internet gets infatuated with, let's talk about bug jars.
Woo!
Ooh.
And satanic rituals involving with thereof.
Yeah.
Satan.
This one actually got coverage in places like the Escapist magazine and I think not Time, New Yorker I think actually talked about this on their website where like they were like, oh my God, there's this secret puzzle in this video game that everybody's trying to figure out, and no. No, there was not.
It's
but
like
for those of you who are for some reason or other watching this video and not in the loop on this, which I figure is kind of hard to be, if you take there are jars in Skyrim, and there's one per that has like it's a big jar and it's got a big cork top on the top, and there's a bug in it. It's just kind of like flying around in the middle of it, and there's one for several different types of bugs, and there are no duplicates that I'm aware of. And then on the underside of that little cork top, there's a rune etched in it, and people were convinced that these bug jars meant something, and they don't.
If I remember correctly, they even have like
map and
that their positions meant something, and then I think somebody figured out that they. Yeah, didn't somebody figure out that if you map where they are in the map, that it kind of forms like kind of a pentacle if you squint?
Yeah, but that's kind of like the whole ley lines thing, I think that's just trying to look for patterns.
Yeah,
holy crap,
I think so
there
too.
are a bunch of theories.
But
people were infatuated with this for the span of time in which it took the console version to come out to the time that it took the PC version to come out, and people were able to hack open the game and see whether or not there was any code behind those bug jars.
Did the PC version come out the same day?
Oh,
it was
man.
like when the creation kit came out, and people really were
that's what it was. Yes.
Look at things in a more...
You're right. In a detailed way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It was when the creation kit came out.
One theory, you could summon Talos for some fucking reason. Another
Summoning
theory...
Talos is clearly the end goal of man, so whatever.
It would have been baller as shit.
Another theory is that it was the Bethesda employee name initials. Another theory was an inside joke among the employees. Another theory was
Elton Brand 2.0.
What the fuck is this one?
Oh, bring Goldbrand to the center of the pentacle and you get Elton Brand. There you go.
Elton Brand and Goldbrand. Does anybody want to explain that as fast as they can?
If
pretty much take Goldbrand and this dude after you do a quest, and then
have
you have a certain amount of gold.
11,711.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the numbers of Elton Brand. And then, like, they say, what's it?
Go to hell, Carolina.
Yeah, go to hell, Carolina, and then you got
right.
Elton Brand.
It was somebody who's a big fan of their alma mater's football team, and during the Morwind's development, they stuck the sword in there, and yeah, it turned basically one already powerful sword into a stupid powerful sword, and in the case of the bug jars, there turned out to be no code involved, and I still to this day don't know what it is, but I'm sure there's a texture artist at Bethesda somewhere who's laughing his ass off about this, and I don't blame him. That was a good one. That was a really good. I hope TES 6 has a shitload of that stuff in it because it keeps us busy.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna do the one at the top of the list. We're doing last because it's my favorite one. Mehrunes Dagon is Magnus.
Ripped right out of the Mundus. I guess. And then back in Oblivion.
So,
okay,
I think
somebody take it from here. Yeah.
I'm going to associate this one with Cody, okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ordo Corvus, for those who don't know. So, pretty much there's a bunch of writings or at least 2 writings in the Elder Scrolls lore, and then the Eldudaga as well, that kind of hint that the Leaper Demon King is Mehrunes Dagon. Okay? And if we look into what, Leaping and Demon King, you can look at Magnus as a Leaper, because the only real thing he did other than making the mortal plane was leap out of it, and he's a king because, the Magnagi. So we kind of go, well, Alduin, because Magnus was stealing pieces of raw Croatia, Alduin or Akatosh or Ariel or whoever cursed Magnus to be bound to the mortal plane, kinda, until all those pieces of Croatia returned. So he became Mehrunes Dagon, god of destruction, so he could reclaim those pieces of Croatia that were stolen, return them to Alduin, etc., and become the Leaper Demon King again and go to all the planes wherever he wants to go.
Leap around.
There is also a line from the Pocket Guide to the Empire, Part 1, which is on the front page, where they have reverse text, which are prayers to Daedra, and the entry referring to Dagon is to Mehrunes Dagon, whose mistress is the blazing sun. Yep. And there's concept art from Morrowind involving some Daedric helmets, which explain what each of the Daedric helmets mean. Like, for example, there's the terrifying face, which is the Nerevar aspect, which is illegal for people who aren't in-house Induril to wear.
Yep.
There's the comforting face of tendrils, which is the Sheogorath aspect and is illegal to wear unless you're insane. And then of the 6, the third one of them is the face of the husband of fire, which is called the Dagon aspect, which is illegal to wear. Period. That's all I got. Not a really, really well put together theory, but goddammit, I've written reams of paper about less. So, yeah. Is Mehrunes Dagon actually...
and the mythic dawn symbol is that of the rising sun.
Yeah, there's also the argument that Magnus left the Mundus which he designed, and maybe he's come back to destroy it as Mehrunes Dagon.
Or save it.
Or is he?
Cameron.
Yeah.
Well,
if that is his real name.
Cameron is to be
I forgot all about Cameron.
In fact, Mankar Cameron is like the poster child of this podcast, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, kind of is, isn't he? Yeah.
Anyway, Cameron goes, because he's talking about reclaiming Lorkhan's, plane of oblivion back to Mehrunes Dagon because it's his birthright. And the only way you could gain that is because, you had a hand in making it, which none of the Daedra obviously did, unless they were Magnus.
Oh, that's interesting. Very good. Well, clearly, we've solved it.
We solved it. We did
literally. With the
Boethiah's Trinimac. Somebody, Boethiah's Trinimac.
Oh, my theory, okay.
Yeah, I don't know this one. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was reading one night about how the Velothi came to leave the Somerset Isle. And the Velothi were a group of Trinimacites of the Aldmer, okay? And it states in it how, Boethiah eats Trinimac and talks with his voice and convinces some of the Aldmer to become Chimer and leave the Isle. Well, if you look at one way, you could say that he wasn't talking with Trinimac's voice because he was Trinimac. Trinimac, after Ariel kind of left the mortal plane, I view him as kind of, because he was the most powerful Edada, like physically, as the warrior. He slew Lorkhan, he did all this crap, and I viewed him as kind of a Ronin, a person who, without a master, without any cause in the world, and he's trying to find his cause. And then he comes to the realization that, oh shit, I'm completely wrong and Lorkhan was right. Fuck. kind of thing. So he devotes his life to the protection of Lorkhan's, triangular path and things associated with him, even taking on the serpent symbol. So what he does is he goes to the Aldmer, to his faithful, and he talks in his voice and says, "Everything I've said to you is a lie. Here's the truth. Follow me to a new land, so we can begin anew." And then he relieves himself he splits himself of all that negative feeling, and that becomes Malakath.
Okay.
So so they split into two. One becomes Boethia, one becomes Malakath. And those who follow Malakath are corrupted by that almost treasonous, not treasonous, but that way of life, orderly and serving and whatever. Whereas the Boethian way of life is malleable and changing and, insightful. So,
okay. Is it?
You see where I'm going here?
I mean, yeah, like how confident are you about Boethia's aspect of being, orderly? I'm not arguing with you. I'm just wondering.
Malakath as orderly.
Okay.
Boethia as malleable. And
yeah, it's helpful to me sometimes to approach the relationship between Daedra as the relationships between abstract concepts instead of organisms. So you have like what I'm suggesting is that you might, just for kicks, approach this theory from the idea of the transformation of a type of type of concept.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. One concept going to another.
Okay, right.
Trinimac realizing his concepts that he was incorrect, and that he had to split himself in order to become what he wanted to be.
Well, I would suggest that maybe this could be, theoretically, you could entertain this as not so much like Trinimac splitting himself, aspects of himself, or reinventing himself, but rather a cultural aspect. As in, this is not something that a Daedra decided to do, but instead something that was the result of the fracturing of Altmer society. Mm-hmm.
That could be as well. It's just because you know how the Altmer view the Dunmer, right? They view their way as completely incorrect, and the proof of it is in the Chimer.
And their curse, yes.
And their curse, and the way they traffic with Daedra, and blah blah blah. It's a whole mantra of the Altmer, and it seems bizarre to me, just the way Malakath behaves, almost as a benevolent kind of king of the outcasts, which is what Trinimac became, is an outcast after Ariel left. And he kind of watches over his people caringly, and those who fuck with them, he's a vengeful spirit against them,
Right.
And
I don't think. I'm sorry, but I don't think does anybody do any Altmer argue that Trinimac is still around?
No, they don't even acknowledge him as.
Okay.
Some of them don't even acknowledge him as a Daedric prince, the princes, and some of them don't even acknowledge him as being Trinimac ever. Period. That he's just another spirit. That they believe that Trinimac is still Trinimac.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, there was a group of orcs in the late third era? Yeah, or late third era, I can't talk tonight, who said that they actually worship Trinimac and not Malakath.
Yes.
That was in third PGE, right?
Yeah, I can explain about that too. So, the king of Orsinium, of Clan Minat, I forget his name, Grotwog, I believe?
Gortwog.
Yeah, he established which is another conspiracy theory that I have coming. That I haven't completely reached out, though, but he established a Temple of Trinimac as soon as Orsinium was recognized after the, which we call it a peace, the War from the West. Miracle of Peace.
Yeah, right.
So, which I have a whole Aldmeri Dominion secret vengeful Trinimacite thing coming soon.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's Boethiah Trinimac.
Okay. Not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Yeah. I mean,
somebody wants to talk about the Book of the Deep Ones? I don't know. Let's skip that one. That one doesn't seem to be-
Nagasticavatacavakis. It's Nagasticavatacavakis written in
Holy crap, say that again.
Nagasticavatacavakis.
Nicely done.
It's Nagasticavatacavakis. I can't do it more than 3 times, okay? Written in Daedric letters instead of normal letters, and that's just... So it's a book by some Sload, written, which is of course in Esperanto, from some Esperanto newsletter with a bunch of K's and V's and other weird letters mixed in.
Right.
And I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be there, except a Lovecraft reference. But I'd say Rorik, but based on the fact that it's the Sload are involved, maybe, and that Rorikstead has soul gems in it, I'd say that they do worship the deep ones in Rorikstead.
Okay.
We denied that earlier, but I think that's a possibility.
Now we're
Does
talking.
it mean anything else? Does it mean that they worship the Sload? Maybe.
The Sload? No, they worship the deep ones. See, there's a big difference.
Okay, right.
The deep ones are probably just the Sload pretending to be someone else.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, actually, you know what? It's swamp gas. The whole thing's just swamp gas.
That's the official government response to the mysterious case of Rorikstead.
That's
To be fair,
What you were watching was clearly a case of swamp gas.
to be fair, that doesn't exclude the Sload either.
That's true too. Maik? Michael?
Yes.
Talk to me about Maik.
Okay, so my theory is that Maik is the mimetic expression of the riddle Thar. Okay, so that's big words. Mimetic means that it's like a physical representation or a mime, a gesture, that type of thing. So it's the riddle Thar enacting itself on Tamriel. Could Maik be?
So hold on. What's the riddle Thar?
Oh, I'm sorry. Riddle Thar. I'm going to go back over here to USP. The cosmic order deity of the Khajiit, the Riddle Thar, was revealed to the citizens elsewhere by the prophet Rid Thar Ridata. The Riddle Thar is more a set of guidelines than a single entity, although it has been known that some of its avatars appear as humble messengers of the gods to those in need.
Indeed. Okay. So it's an expression of this concept?
I would say so.
Okay.
There's a second.
So you would argue that Maik is actually there to help you?
Yes, and what type of help that may be probably depends on whatever it is that you're asking him. Maybe he's just there to offer fun commentary. Maybe he's there to send you off on a quest to get Goldbrand. Who knows? Or maybe he's just looking for his Colovian helm. Who knows?
Yep.
And his,
His calipers.
Calipers.
Calipers. Them calipers, man. So that does raise the question, is he somehow connected to Sheogorath? Or is it just that he misses them because the COC took them all to the Shivering Isle? I don't know.
No, he's not connected to Sheogorath. That'd be all those crazy Bosmer and... You have to...
There you go.
Well, there's another theory that was popular for about a week on Teslore about Maik. Is that he was the proctor of the Godhead.
Proctor?
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be that he was an agent of Mehrunes Dagon. No.
No. No, he's which proctor means
champion of Hermaeus Mora. I'm sorry. What? Everybody's a goddamn champion of Hermaeus Mora.
Anyway, so a proctor is a person who monitors people during an examination, or an officer at a certain university's appointed or disciplinary functions. It's like, I don't know if that's the correct word, but yeah, proctor. There we go. Anyway.
So he would be the conscience of the Godhead?
Or he's monitoring everyone on Arena? What?
Kinda. He's like, like when someone makes a video game, they're gonna want to play it, right?
Right.
So the dreamer's dreaming, but he kind of wants to take part in his dream without messing it up.
Oh, he's the void ghost.
Well, yes, but
that would be why Maik loves everybody.
yeah.
Yes.
So Maik
MQ sound like anything to you?
I was thinking if he was the proctor, he'd be like, "Whoa, you're cheating. You get out."
It's
He would like mods.
You're allowed out here without the hall pass.
Yeah.
Sir, I need to see your hall pass.
Man, if Mike accused you of that hall pass. Oh, well, Kim is just bypassing, is just, ignoring the hall pass and walking around the halls by herself without any other more sanctioned ways of godhood or whatever.
Well, let's talk about an actual honest-to-God conspiracy theory in the Elder Scrolls universe, which is that everybody on Morrowind seems to have a theory about who killed Indral Nerevar.
Ooh. Alrighty.
So so there's three major conspiracy theories that are presented to you in Morrowind. One of them is that the House Dwemer killed Nerevar. Can anybody talk about that?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if no one else wants to go, because I've talked a lot already.
Go for it.
Anything's better than me yammering around.
Okay, so the Ashlanders. So at the Battle of Red Mountain, which is time wonky as it is, believe that the House Dwemer sanctioned Almalexia and those three to murder him, so that way they could have their autonomy back. Is essentially what I gathered from it, right?
There's something about poison. I'm trying to remember. It was something about poison.
Yeah.
Poison candles, poison robe, poison words.
And yes, and the second theory would have been that he was killed by Borin Dagoth himself.
Yes.
Which is easy enough. And then the third theory was that the tribunal killed him.
Yes. And the fourth theory is that Dumac killed him.
Oh.
Everyone killed Nerevar.
Yeah.
Well, whoever we hate is the guy who killed Nerevar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of says something a little bit about conspiracy theories in general. Is that they are generally prone to people who want to think. It's prone to like people who want to think that they know something that other people don't know. And like one of the strongest arguments for the idea of the fact that what's his name, the guy who shot Kennedy.
He has three names. Oswald.
Yeah. Oswald. The idea that like a lot of people had a really hard time coping with the idea that Lee Harvey Oswald killed John Kennedy, and one of the strongest arguments that I've heard for why this was the case that wasn't goddamn scientific evidence was that the fact is that a lot of people really have problems coping with the idea that one dude could kill somebody like John Kennedy.
Right.
That you really can. That even though you're the president of the United States and you have all this safety and stuff around you, it really can come down to one nut job with a gun. And it's disquieting for people to think that you can die at any given moment.
Planet.
Yeah, that some dude with a high-power rifle could kill the most powerful man on the planet. Yeah, and if one dude could do that, then I could get killed by some of my neighbor's lawnmower could explode and the blade could fly and take my head off. I could get struck by lightning. A fucking meteor could fall out of the earth and punch a hole through my head.
Careful,
all this crazy stuff could happen. Okay, Luther.
Bye-bye.
So all these crazy things could happen, and that's really hard for people to handle. It's not. It's not untrue, but it's not. But it's not something that people like to come to face with. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of conspiracies happen is because people want to think that a bunch of assholes on a plane on two planes with box cutters could in fact kill so many people and knock down two of the biggest buildings in the world. they want to think that there's some kind of huge grand conspiracy to this because it feels impossible to them.
You know.
Yeah, it's surely more work went into it than just that. Well, no, unfortunately, it really is that simple for horrible shit to happen.
Surely we are more complex than that. Surely we are more defended than that. Surely.
Nope. Nope. The world is that. The world sucks that hard.
Yeah.
It really
the world
does.
is that simple and sucks that hard, and it's hard for people to wrap their heads around it. Yeah.
And so when you talk about do we appreciate things like Vivek being like a liar all the time? It's like he's lying to us about the way the universe of the Elder Scrolls actually works, and he lies about whether or not he killed Nerevar, and then Vivek turns around and says, yes, but it's a useful lie.
Yeah.
What Vivek's talking about is we're all living under a haze of lies. We're all living under an illusion that the world is actually safer than it is, because if we actually thought about how unsafe we are, we'd go insane.
Yep.
The lies
the
are
trick
effective.
is what you... Right. The lies are effective because it keeps us sane, because the fact of the matter is we're not able to truly comprehend how the universe is. And if we actually understood how incredibly complex the universe is, we'd understand how at risk we are every second of the day. We'd also understand the much larger picture of how incredibly safe we are every second of the day.
That's right.
And then, in fact, these awful things yeah, sure, an asteroid could come out of the sky and strike you down, but let's not talk about them every goddamn millisecond of daylight where it doesn't happen. You know, because these asteroids go elsewhere, and in fact, you're actually really safe. Like things are really working out great. But it's whatever. That's it.
Unless of course a god is holding an asteroid above the and says that he'll drop it on you if you don't love him.
You fail to love him, okay? The important point is love
exactly.
Vivek.
Yeah, love Vivek.
Love Vivek.
His lies are effective. His lies are effective enough that people actually think they want to live in Tamriel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Jesus Christ. That place is a shithole. That is awful. Who would you be if you were in Tamriel? I'd be 6 feet under because I'd be dead in 10 minutes. A fucking bear, a goddamn snow Yeti would jump out of nowhere and take my face off. Are you
Clearly, I'd be
Vobnus
Nucius getting my.
Yeah,
Clearly,
right.
I'd be Vobnus Nucius getting out.
Yeah.
And I have 100 drakes for this ring.
Yeah. Seriously, it's an awful place to live. I do not recommend it. Okay, let's do my big one. Okay, we all need to talk about how completely true it is that orcs are Dwemer.
Oh yes.
Da da da.
Their king is the dwarf orc, and that just makes him twice the dwarf of everyone else.
He's 2x orc. He's super dwarf. So this started for those of you who weren't around during this hilarious time in the TS lore subreddit. There was a poster named TurokMan2000 who was comparatively new to the forum, and he came up with this idea by taking effectively a bunch of coincidences and putting them together in a very creative way that the Dwemer were orcs, and that the orcs that existed before the Dwemer were in fact Dwemer who created their own existence backwards after the dragon break that happened when they built Numidium.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Elder Scrolls Online has a book that's similar to that.
Really? Oh my god, that's awesome.
Something about how the Dwemer are from the future or whatever and disappeared due to a time paradox or something.
That's not. I really do want to, like, I have to admit that, like, when I first read these theories, I was like, this guy's a fucking idiot. There's no, like, this is the most groundless goddamn bullshit. I can't believe he's wasting my time with this. And as time went on, this dude wrote a lot of articles supporting this theory. And I don't agree in any way with most of his logic, but some of his connections are interesting. I mean, the biggest, the firmest one, in my opinion, was just the fact that there's the name Dumalakath, Dumak, the dwarf lord Dumak, and Malakath, kind of a portmanteau of those two words together. And he thought that this was like the proof, you know. And but the more I read about this guy's stuff, eventually he wrote like these long, like, wall of text 2-part articles about his theory. And I have to admit that while I still don't buy it, it's just pretty much just as solid as any other thing I've ever come up with. I have to say, like, I've had stupider ideas in my life, and it's more importantly, it's a fun idea. The idea that the Elder Scrolls universe can exist in a way where something this completely crazy could happen is pretty fun. I don't think that necessarily enriches the universe any. But anyway, orcs are Dwemer. And if you're wondering what happened to the Dwemer, there you go. They're orcs now.
Yep.
So
They got shouted at by
literally cannot
Wolfhearth.
solve it any easier than that. Yeah, the what happened to the Dwemer there works.
Speaking of Wolfhearth shouting, we should talk clearly about how long the races live.
How long the races what?
How long the races
do the races live? This is basically the best troll question ever.
Oh.
They live exactly one day longer than this argument will.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, okay.
They live until they get killed.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have worded that better. How long do the Dwemer live?
Oh, the Dwemer was shorter than you. I don't know. Yeah, shorter than the Dwemer, I guess.
Except Yagrum Bagarn, who I guess brings their average way up.
That's true. Yagi Baggy's really thrown off the curve, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know, well, okay.
Anyway, let's talk about something that isn't stupid. Well,
actually, believe it or not, we have this list here that I'm looking at. We've pretty much got them all.
Well, we didn't go over the champion of Cyrodiil, the Oblivion main character, being crazy, I don't think.
What was that? Huh?
The Oat main character is insane, which is why they were able to mantle the Sithis-shaped hole. And, like, I sort of like that one.
You're going to have to explain that. I don't know that one.
Well, let's see. I'm not really into this all the way, but that's on the page, so I'm going to see if I can talk about this.
Sure.
For one thing, you mantle Shale. I'm sort of going backwards from here. I don't know of anything that makes them seem insane to begin with, other than the fact that the Emperor.
Hey, look, an Oblivion gate. Let's go in.
Oh yes, that and the Emperor.
Just the general misanthropy of Elder Scrolls main characters in general, where they 1 minute they're rescuing people and like defending elves and like purifying themselves at shrines, and the next minute they're, you know, the head of the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild and the Warriors Guild and the Mages Guild.
And mantling Pelennor or whatever's going on there.
Yeah, mantling Pelennor and Sheogorath, and and waiting outside of a shop for 12 hours straight in the rain without moving, and eating diamonds.
That's right.
And,
right, those were freaking.
Yeah, Nerevar Diamond Teeth.
Making a bunch of spells in such a way that you can kill all of Cheydinhal at once, but then you like die immediately after or something.
Yeah, setting yourself on fire just to raise your own destruction skill.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I guess you could definitely say they're insane, but only if you trust what the player does is normal.
Well,
which is kind of an odd assumption.
I can tell you that I'll put it to you this way. There's the concept that I've been circling around in the New Whirling School website, which is that the player himself is a force of Padme.
Well, that's
yeah, because the game universe itself does not change until a Padmaic force is introduced into it from an externally. So for example, like they say, like an Elder Scroll is a prophecy, but it requires the hero to fulfill it, which is basically another way of saying that the video game is a prophecy until a player plays it and determines what happens.
Yeah.
Even then, like,
which is why they're called the Elder Scrolls. Ooh.
The player, nothing really happens.
Nothing but truth.
The player does something. That's kind of fun, actually. Like, you can just watch someone go through their schedule for months on end, and I imagine you'd get bored, but I also imagine at least one person's done that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, stalk somebody as they leave their house in the morning. And I did this in Oblivion once when I was trying to steal something. And I literally watched the guy, like, I had to assassinate somebody, I think, and they got up, and it was for a mod. They got up, and I watched them leave the house and followed them around all day and watched them go eat and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is insane what I'm doing right now. This is absolutely patently insane. Like, and I'm doing it in full fucking plate armor.
And no one even thinks about the fact there's this weird person in plate armor following them around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm literally standing a foot away from this guy while he eats his lunch, just staring at him.
So I guess.
And he's just not even blinking. I'm just staring right at him. He's just eating his bread. I'm just staring at him, and I saw a mud crab the other day, and I'm like, "Are you gonna be fucking done or what?" And he's just, and then he gets up and he goes home, and I follow him into his house, and he gets into his bed, and I'm standing at the edge of his bed like this.
I'm gonna stab you.
Are you gonna get up later tonight?
The way they talk to you when you walk up to them, I guess they just assume that if you're stalking them, they're your friend or whatever.
Right, I guess. I don't know.
You're not necessarily
Well,
there.
that's the thing. Like the whole world literally revolves around the player in these games.
You're not their friend, of course, unless
will
you
do-
joke and compliment and yell at them enough.
That's true. I forgot. Yeah, that's right. I have to insult, joke. Yeah, but I have to choose one of four things to say to these people, or ideally speaking, all four in various different orders.
No, you have to do all four every time.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, I can't. You can't get through a conversation with a character without insulting him, telling a joke, flattering him. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
So do you think, if you believe
I guess
all of
that's
them are
just
Patamaic
how-
forces, do you think that they're all Shazarines?
Oh,
well,
that's a good
for
one.
a time I did actually. Yeah, for there was a time there where I was pretty convinced that the Shezar like that all the characters were Shezarines until I read that list by Kirkbride.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, after I read that, I was convinced that the main character of Skyrim was going to be the next Shezarine because the game was coming out on 11/11/11, which is the number of the Master 3 times.
Yes.
1 and 1 and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is fucking perfect. And then also, he's going to be Dragonborn, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dragonborn. I mean, it's just fucking Chezarine, right?
And they call
And
you
we
Eastmere in the course of the game.
Yeah, right. Seriously, I was totally right, dude. I was 100% right. And then Coda happened, and then I get to eat shit, I guess. The Tatterdemalion mod was going to basically say it. It was going to come right out and say, yeah, the last Dragonborn is the Shezarine. And we were going to argue both ways, but the argument against was going to be, if I have to say, it was pretty half-assed. It was pretty we were pretty much like, yeah, okay,
Well then, do we have any more conspiracy theories?
I don't think so.
Well, let's see if I can think of anything here. Well, there's that one. There was a question on the Facebook group recently about what's her name from Hammerfell. I forgot what the quest is called.
Oh yeah.
That's sort of a conspiracy, but it's not really so much that's just a thing that you can say, oh, it's supposed to be vague, choose what you want. And that's sort of the end of the story, isn't it?
Oh, the woman that betrays the Red Guards to the Aldmeri.
Or so
Right.
they say.
Mhm. Yeah, and she supposedly used to be a princess or somebody important, but
Someone of Wayrest.
is kind of questionable. Yeah. Like
And
you're
everything
really
is kind of
by the time
questionable.
the quest is over, even if you do both possibilities in the quest, by the time the quest is over, you're still not really totally sure what she did or who she was.
That's true.
And you're given kind of contradictory information. I will say this, that I briefly, while preparing for this podcast, I did look up to I just went to UESP and just typed in conspiracy and hit enter. And there's really, really high-tech research. And
A big
I went in-
conspiracy would be Night Mother's identity.
Oh, that's a good
shit.
one. That's a really good one. I can't believe
That's
I
a
forgot
great
that
one too.
Everybody, okay, so who do you think the Night Mother is?
Vivek.
Sithis. I'm just kidding.
I'm with Vivek as well. Mafala's
Yeah.
also a good one. Yeah, Mafala's a good one.
Go
ahead.
It's Mephala or Vivek. It's one of the two, and I like Vivek. I think it's Vivek.
I do too, because there's that chapter in the 36 Lessons where where it sort of seems to insinuate that Vivek has started an offshoot of the Dark Brotherhood or of the Morag Tong, and kind of call Vivek the Night Mother in that respect. And Vivek does have a certain relationship with death. Mafala's an easier leap, although Vivek was anticipated by Mafala, so there's a connection too. But anyway, Mafala seems like an easier leap. I got half a mind to create an adventure mod that basically has Vivek in it.
Please.
As the Night Mother, but I can't think of a way to make it interesting.
You just make a. Ever seen Full Metal Alchemist?
No.
Nope. Okay,
No.
there's this monster dude, and he's a bunch of hands with eyes.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh. No. I would probably have somebody create like a Vivek model for me that was properly androgynous, and I would probably pay somebody at Lover's Lab to do it for me. Because who's going to do it better than Lover's Lab? Come on. Those people were born to model Vivek. But anyway, if I do put out that mod, I will charge $10 for it. Okay, I think we pretty much covered everything. That was a good short cast.
Yeah.
Thank God. Something easy to digest. Everybody's schedules are going completely crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't know how to say this, but I just don't know when the next cast is going to be.
Yeah.
We'll try to do one as soon as possible. We still
Sometime
have
next
20.
month. It
Yeah.
will be a cast.
We will give it a shot. Yep.
Yep.
If it's just me picking, I still have to get in here to talk about Altmer, which I really want to do, but I don't know how much time or bandwidth he has.
Also, if you guys have any questions or want to add anything or just whatever, say so in the comments.
Yep.
Et cetera,
Michael,
et cetera.
You had a huge release yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did. A couple days ago.
Tell people about it. Mm-hmm.
So I wrote an Elder Scrolls novel called Requiem, and it is a sequel. Did I glitch out, or did you guys hear me?
No, we're hearing you.
No, I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay. It's a sequel to a Khajiit Coda, which asks the original Khajiit Coda asked the question, what were the Khajiit doing when the world broke? And this one is dealing with some of those same characters a few hundred years later, and it asks some pretty hard questions about the universe and the nature of cycles and other lore-y stuff that I don't want to spoil.
So where can people find it?
They can find it at tomorrowindtoday.com/requiem.pdf.
And I'm going there now.
And I will get you a link in the comments below, because people need to read that. It's very good.
Oh, thank you.
And we will see you guys next month, hopefully.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Everybody wave bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Khajiit love.
People who don't have webcams are waving.
I'm already. My wizard there is already waving with lightning
He's waving.
in his hand.
Bye-bye.